Hey guys, Mr. Riz here to help you out with the introduction to Arduino quiz. And so this is going to bring us to a last unit in computer science principles, or not principles, essentials, and where we're going to be messing around with Arduinos. So I have like a little Arduino board. I have it actually hooked up to some LED strips. I've been just thoroughly impressed with these, and this is why I wanted to create a unit to introduce you guys to them. So Arduinos are these like small little, we can call them like microcomputers where you can upload some program to them and you pretty much can connect any wires to them. So it's kind of like, our VEX 5 robot, but we can connect more than just VEX 5 components. Really, the possibilities are limitless as long as you have a power supply and some other control units. You can really start manipulating, hacking some other things. And the projects that people create online are really impressive. But with this, we're going to do some very simple designs, and we're going to use Tinkercad throughout this process to test these out. But then if you choose to work with Arduino later on, I'll actually let you guys use the physical Arduino devices and build it that way. So let's go ahead. Let's get this started here. And I realize I'm going to have to pause this because I don't have this open. All right, there we go. So let's take this quiz, let you guys go over this. And so if you don't like reading, you can listen to me. All right, so what we're going to do here is we are going to explore the Arduino basics here. So we're going to try to understand this digital world of Arduino and learn codes for the hardware. So let's first talk about what is Arduino. So Arduino is known as an open source platform based on programmable development boards that can be integrated into a range of simple or complex programs. So open source means is that everybody's able to get the information and it's pretty much free. The Arduino family consists of different types of developmental boards, and we're going to be looking at the Arduino Uno. This is the most common one out here. It's really good. It can hook up quite a bit of things. There's some bigger ones that you can hook up more, and there's some really even small ones. So if you want to put them inside of like different devices, you can buy some really small ones that work out. So the Arduino board contains a microcontroller that can be programmed to sense and control devices in a physical world. All right, the controller is able to interact with a large variety of components such as like LED lights, motors, and displays. Because of its flexibility and sustainability, Arduino has been very popular in prototyping developmental boards, which is used across the world. So it's like basically if somebody has an idea of something that they want to make, they can kind of prototype it with the Arduino. And then once they get it down, they can actually develop the boards that are smaller, more compact, and more efficient for their specific use. But the Arduino is a great starting point. So there's a lot of components on here that we'll get used to. Those same components you guys will be able to see on Tinkercad and go through. So these are all numbered here and to go through. So number one here, this is the big run one. That's the reset button. It might not, it is red on most of the boards here. Sometimes I've seen them as black, but this will just restart the code. So if you ever have like an arrow, sometimes I just say press that. Number two here, this is the AREF, which stands for the analog reference, and that's used to set a external reference voltage. So some of these things here too might be big words that you might not need to understand, but you go through these projects, you'll get used to them. All right, number three here is a ground input. You can actually see there's a couple other ground inputs. And so when we connect some electrical devices, we'll have to have a voltage and a ground going to them. Number four here, we have all these digital inputs. So the digital inputs are basically numbers 0 through 13. We'll be able to use and write on those digital inputs. So we get input and output information on those. The PWM, number 5, where is that? Okay, that's right over here. Usually those are the ones with the little squiggle on them. All right, those are pulse width modulator pins. They're marked with a little tilde or squiggle symbol that we can use to simulate analog output. So those are kind of nice. We'll use those for some pins. Number 6, this is the USB. This is typically how we will power a board, but you can see it here, number 11 is another way that we could power our board as well, but the USB works out the best. Number 7, the TX and RX buttons here. These are just little lights that you'll see when you connect. Those are going to be the only lights that you see that show that the program is actually running. So usually I can double check that this has power and it's working. If I press this button here, the restart button, and see these lights flash, that's kind of we know we're sending and receiving information. Number 8, this is the micro processor here. So this is kind of like the brain of it, doing everything that we would need it to do. Though you can see it's pretty small, but it works. Number 9 here is the power input. So same thing, you only have a couple little lights on this board. And so it's kind of really hard to tell if something's actually working, whether it's our program or if it's the board messing up. But those lights will give us some indication. Number 10 is the voltage indicator. That's right there. We won't mess around with it too much, but it controls the voltage going into the Arduino board. Number 11, that's another power input. That's if you want to connect like a DC battery to it to power supply, so it's not connected to a USB all the time. We have a couple different power pins here, 12 and 13. 12 here is a 3.3 volt, so something a little lower power. It may be a simple LED. And then you have your 5 volt, something that's a little bit higher. We got more grounds connected to those. And then we have some analog pins. Analog pins are right there. Analog pins are basically read-only pins. So you can read them, but you really can't really do much, but you can convert it to a digital signal. So we have these pins, and there's like a whole bunch of other things that we can connect to it. But Arduino has many uses from coding simple projects to complex systems. And they can really do anything from demonstrating real-life applications that we want to make. So the Arduino IED is what we use to write programs and compile them to the board. So we have to have our board, and then we have to make a program to connect to the board. The language that they use is basically C++. But the one thing that's nice about Tinkercad, there's also a block-based version of it as well. So we're going to go over next, like the specific things that you guys will see in the programming. So we'll use basically the Arduino Uno board. This is called a multifunction shield. Okay, this integrates a wide range of components onto one board. So this way we don't have to have a whole bunch of different wires connecting a lot of different things. There still will be a bunch of wires when we connect our projects, but it really does eliminate the smaller things. Everything's all together on the one board. We won't have to connect anything to the processor, to the power and everything. It's all good together. Let's talk specifically about the Arduino IDE. So this is a completely free and open source program or software. If you get on your own personal computer at home, you can download it. It's free, and you can use it to write codes, compile it to your boards, and then upload it and test them out. As well, you can also download some pre-written libraries that are on there, and you can create your own if you wanted to. So the programming software is basically widely used, so you can find a lot of YouTube videos to help you out. And there's a lot of third-party compatible boards that are out there. So sometimes you might get on, I've even checked Amazon, you'll have not specific, and you know what, I'm holding one right now. This is not a official Arduino Uno board, R3, but it is basically compatible, and every other thing is the same, even the exact same size and unit. So it works just the same, and it was probably like $10 cheaper. Here's basically how you would install this, but it should already be installed into your school's laptop. And we'll be using mostly Tinkercad, which will be online, so we won't even have to deal with this part here. All right, let's talk about the software infrastructure here. When you open up the software, you'll see a couple different things. This verify button is what we will use to just double check that our code is working. So before you upload, which is the next button, you'll click verify to make sure you don't have any errors in your code. If the verified process works, then you can upload it. You can find or open your old code here by pressing either one of these two buttons here. You can open them up and file, and then you have save right here. The serial monitor is another window that we can open up to go through and see, and then we have our menu button to go through. The status area we'll use to kind of double check. It will tell us the uploading process, anything like that. Okay, so some other key points that you guys will see here is that usually we have some blank space here, and then we have the void setup. The void setup and the void loop are going to be kind of main components that every program will have. The void setup is what we will use to kind of initialize some things, like we'll say exactly what pins are having the items in them. Like if we have an LED, we'll have it in the setup. We have some variables to go through. Your void loop is basically like, you think about it, it's like our when started. So this is going to be the program that is going to be running repeatedly through the process. Okay, so What you will do once you get these things connected to, and I'll show you guys on Tinkercad in a bit, but you'll always make sure you load your program up to the Arduino microcontroller. You'll connect the right cable to it. You'll go to the menu bar and you'll choose your port and your name and have it connected. And then you'll make sure on your ID to verify that it actually worked. So we've got a couple questions down here that you guys will answer at the bottom, basically going through. You can use the top to help you out. But let me show you guys the next thing that you will do. We go to modules here. What you're going to do next is you guys will go to this sign up for Tinkercad Classroom. Tinkercad Classroom. So Tinkercad is actually a pretty cool website. Some of you might have used this for, oh yeah, I'm already a member. As a teacher, I cannot join. But okay, we're in this classroom, but I can set you up with different designs. And the designs could be 3D designs, which we won't mess around with too much, but we'll be messing around with circuit designs. So in circuit designs, this is nice because you can use this on your Chromebook. You won't have to be on a computer. But you can see is basically there's a digital version of an Arduino board, and you have some digital components here. Now there's way more of these components in real life, but these are just nice basic ones to get us started. And you can click over here, you can find some other ones. With the code, we can look at it kind of two different ways. So you can have block-based coding, or if you want to get real fancy, you can go to text-based coding. And this is where our void setup and our void loop is. And we can kind of go through here and see and connect. And so we'll do some very basic projects at the beginning that I'll walk you guys through. And we'll have you guys, connect a light, have it blink, see if we can then control it by a button. We're just going to connect these on the board. This way, everybody has a board available. We don't have to worry about wire shorting out or anything like this. We're really controlling our environment. So I want you guys to watch this video so you guys have a concept and idea of what Arduino is. And then after this, we're going to walk you through some basic projects that you guys will complete and connect to get used to the Arduino projects and its possibilities. All right, guys, thanks for watching this video. Hopefully you have a good one, and just make sure you answer those questions. Have a good one, and I will see you later.